Hey guys, welcome to That Florida Feeling. I hope everybody's had a great week. I know that we have some things going on in the Atlantic. Let's all hope that they just curve again. Nobody wants to deal with that, ever. Thank you for listening to the past few weeks. I know last week I was a little bit down and out, but I appreciate you guys keeping the podcast going with posting fun things on all the social media sites. But today I have a really awesome guest, and he is going to talk about him and his wife's project, and it's something that I fully get behind. And so I was super excited to finally have our times work together. And I am going to introduce you to JC. So hello, JC.
Hey, Jody. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic, and I'm very happy to be here and appreciative to be able to have the opportunity to chat with you and your awesome followers today, too.
Thank you. So I didn't spoil it. I didn't tell them what you were working on. Why don't you tell them what I am 100% behind on this, and tell them what you and your wife have been working on?
Sure. So I have been a filmmaker for over 15 years. I used to work out in Hollywood, in Georgia. I worked on The Walking Dead. I worked on ABC's Quantico. I worked on a lot of stuff. And, there's a lot of negativity there. There's a lot of great things, but a lot of the media is in a space where, they're more geared towards not giving you the most positive experience when you walk out of the theater or, you watch the show. So I missed the morals and the values. So we left that. I was actually working on The Walking Dead when my wife's mother was passing away here in Mount Dora, Florida. And I had never heard of Mount Dora. And when we came down, so my wife has an RN degree. When we came down, she took care of her. And when all was said and done, it was time to go back and work on a movie called Ant-Man. Oh. And believe it or not, after seeing Mount Dora and all of the potential and all of the people, I turned it down and we stayed here.
I can believe it. I really can. It was an amazing place.
And it was like a place I'd never seen. Like, you hear it in the movies, and you hear it in like storybooks of like the past, where everything was wholesome. People were connected and they cared as they talked to you. I'm from Jersey. So literally Jersey and New York, like there's a whole nother language there, and it's not very pleasant. You know what I mean?
I do. Having lived in South Florida around a lot of the people you just described, I learned that language very quickly. Yes.
And it's one of those things where, as filmmakers, we have a responsibility to say, what type of world are we creating? Because you're creating a visceral experience for people, right? They sit down, they feel it. It's all of the senses connecting with them, and the opportunity to be able to basically bring them into a whole nother reality. So the question is, what are they getting out of that? What's the ripple effect when they leave? How does it make them feel? What are their thoughts? And the beautiful thing about filmmaking is there's this opportunity to create a veil of entertainment while still planting seeds of perspective. Right. And, my wife, Cammie, and we call ourselves perspective healers. We like to help people get opportunities to look at things from different perspectives, because in a way, that's how we grow. That's about life. Right. You only have one perspective, and then you open that up and suddenly it's like, oh, well, yeah, you're right. That is technically going on. But I never thought about it that way because I live life with blinders on, and what's in it for me is all I care about.
Right. Yeah.
So we created Chill Baby Productions in Mount Dora and started making TV, movies, commercials, all sorts of stuff. But we did it with a goal to try to make content that made the world a better place in some way, that had a positive ripple effect somehow. Like, I learned in the industry, you have to be cinematic. So I started coining myself as a cinematic storyteller, because stories are how we grow, how we learn. Everybody's got stories. We tell stories each other every day. But the question is, do any of those stories impact us in the way we want them to? So, it kind of makes you think a little bit, like my story of why did I choose this shirt I'm wearing today? And the answer is because I thought I was going to be on camera, and now I'm not. So it works out better.
I totally understand. And you know about my shirt, so I get it.
Yes. But so, we used to do commercials for Advent Health. You know, I worked with United Way. So we tried to create content that had a better impact in the world. Like, I don't know if you remember Full House and Family Matters, right? That type of thing.
Yeah. I grew up with all that. That's my generation, man. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And the fact is that when you watched it, you got something from it. There was some form of moral or value, and it was like, oh wow, I can relate to that, and therefore make myself a little bit better because now I have an opportunity to see how that was in an action that I may or may not have played out, but now I got the value of it, right?
Absolutely. You always walk away with like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be that much of an a-hole, or be nicer to somebody. Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. So with that in mind, and having learned I call it the unsung language of emotion, because emotional storytelling is what I feel I excel most at, and what my wife and I create best is real visceral experiences that create emotional bridges for the audience to be able to go, well, wow, I'm feeling this, or I'm just entertained. Like, take it however you will. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's no like, I'm trying to have an agenda to do something. I'm trying to entertain you. And if you happen to get something more out of it, great. If you don't, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
So, you know, I use the example E.T., the movie E.T., when you conversation with somebody, like 50% of the people were like, man, that was just a really good movie. And then 50% of the people were like, there really is life out there, you know?
Yeah, right. Some people thought it was great to just escape for that hour and a half. And the other people were like, ooh, I really want to look into space now. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's all about just planting seeds. Right. And sometimes if the media had the opportunity to choose the positive perspective of alignment with something going on, then you know how powerful the media is. But it's whether or not it's being communicated in a way that is helping people, hurting people, or somewhere in between. And, you know, there's a universal, I don't know, I think ever since media came out, there's always been the ebbs and flows of positive and negative and just duality of how people see it. Yeah. So we have gotten on our side and we love what we do. And when I don't know, it was maybe 2 or 3 days before I heard anything about the bear stuff, and Cammie came to me crying. And I was like, oh my God, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Because we have kids and dogs. We have 7 dogs.
Oh, no.
So like, you can't tell what's happening. So I was like, oh God, what's going on? And at one time she did come to me. She is much, she loves animals and plants more than people, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
We have a food forest that is all her in Mount Dora. Yeah. Okay. So, and with 7 dogs, 2 cats, 6 chickens, and 2 children, you know, there's a lot of love.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
And she speaks for those who don't have the ability to speak, aka plants, animals, that type of stuff. Absolutely, I speak for people. I'm a people person, and she's a plant and animal person, and we balance perfectly.
Okay, and that's how it works out. Yeah, totally.
One time she came to me crying because a tree was dying. So I wasn't really sure what this could be. There's the whole gamut of what this could have been.
Right.
And when she told me about the bear thing, I was like, oh, wow, okay, what's really happening here? She had said, I stayed up till 3 a.m. drinking coffee and researching what had been going on. And now what you need to know is me and Cammie have made movies and TV together, but never has she wanted to go further than just the creative process. Because she doesn't like to interact with people. She prefers doing her own thing and the plants and animals, and I totally get that. But so anyway, she goes, I want to make this movie.
Wow.
And yeah, and she like gave it to me. Like, I'm the one who usually wakes up with a dream and I'm like, babe, there was this dream I had. I think you could turn it into a movie. And then she'll very clearly go, oh, that's a great idea. Or you may maybe go back to sleep and have another dream.
Right. Let's start the creative process over again. Yeah.
Correct. But so her coming to me was like a totally different thing. I knew that there was something special happening here. And then when she started explaining to me, I was like, this absolutely makes no sense. And then you look and there's, so anyway, for the viewers or the listeners the fact is that she was talking to me about the new proposed Florida black bear hunt for 2025.
Right.
And, you know, it was one of those things where, we understand the perspective of hunters, but there's a way to do it. They understand that there's a relationship. There's a process of eating the food and doing all that. Well, all these boxes weren't being checked. And as we started to look deeper, there were even hunters who were like, this is ego-based. This isn't what it's supposed to be.
It's not right. You don't need a trophy. Not in Florida, not like that.
No. And then all of a sudden we started researching 2015, and it was like, okay, so they've done this before, but look at how the situation was. Like we were talking about, like literally in one day, they got all of the bears they needed, and they had to shut it down or they would have kept going.
Yeah, and it was awful. I remember it. Oh, it was just awful. That was horrible. Ooh.
And those weren't with baiting, bows, and dogs.
No.
But they did not have any of those. And if you think about like just dying in general, I think anyone across the board can go, there's a lot ways that I would, be okay with dying. Those are 3 very inhumane ways to die. It doesn't matter what creature you are.
Yeah, no, like there's hunting for sport. There's hunting because there's overpopulation.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's hunting because we're bored and we have nothing else to do. And you're kind of looking at the third one here. And the way you're doing it is absolutely just, like you said, trophy and ego. And it's just not right. Not at all.
So after we started figuring this out, now I'm going to tell you something a lot of people don't know. Even with the whole journey of the Bears movement, they don't know that this started as nothing more than me and Cammie going, all right, so you and the kids are going to go be playing in the house, then you're going to go in the woods, and then you're going to die. And we're like, wait, what? Yeah, I know, right? But it was, you are the mom and the cubs.
Got it. Okay.
So we could see the perspective. And it was going to be nothing more than me with my camera filming that happening. We've done that stuff all the time before, but with purpose, it's much more valuable. But so anyway, then we started talking to a few people who are in Mount Dora because, again, I left the Hollywood thing and we started here in Mount Dora. For the last 9 years, I've been building relationships to start shooting movies here in Mount Dora.
Right.
And now it's starting to go. But so anyway, they were like, what are you working on, JC? And it's like, well, we're going to do this little thing that then we're going to share. And they're like, oh my God, what can I do to help? And I was like, what do you mean? I care just as much about this. And I think what you're doing is amazing. So we started to see people open up their hearts because of the idea of what we were doing on such a simple level. This was not the movie that is premiering in theaters. This is the thing that actually was just the concept idea for us to feel like we were making a difference and show people what we could show them. But then it was like the universe opened up and was like, hey, look, we need this to be bigger. We're going to give you the tools that you require. Yes. And we started to get positive feedback from people when we told them about it. And they were like, well, what else is happening? So Cammie and I came back and together we sat down and we took an 8-minute short film and we wrote it into a 36-page short feature film.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And the world was Mount Dora turned into Beartopia. It was the place where the bears thrive and are the dominant species, and the humans are the nuisance.
Nice. I like that. I do.
So for one moment, whoever watched this got to see both sides. They got to see I don't want to say naivety, but the lack of knowledge in what this was about. Oh, hey, you want to support the community? Be part of the bear hunt. Oh, they're getting close to the kids. Oh, okay, I can get on board. I'll be part of the Night's Watch. Oh, let's do that. Oh, you're having a party? Let's do that. So suddenly it just becomes another thing that if you don't look too far into, you don't know where you are. And life happens that way sometimes. So then you've got the other side of what's really happening. Well, I want you to imagine that one day you woke up and you were in your comfortable bed, and the next moment you had a target on your back. You now had family that you had to take out into the woods and try to make survive while people were trying to kill you, but not because of anything that you did wrong, simply because.
Yeah, you just existed. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a great spin, like not spin on it, but that's a great way to look at it. How you've taken that and made it like, put yourself in the bear's shoes and see what happens. How do you feel?
And it's one of those things too, where we're not even like trying to make it visceral, and it just became.
Yeah.
So now you have these middle characters that we started to build out, who were going to be the audience. You had people who didn't really know what was going on, and they wanted to get on board, and they had kids, and they thought it was about protection and overpopulation, because you don't look too far into it. You just recognize what it was from the past, and you go along with it. So we had a character like that who throughout the movie got more and more involved, and then by the night of the hunt, he had a nervous breakdown, ran back to the house, and ended up trying to stop the hunt from happening, the human hunt. The first annual human hunt in Beartopia.
Nice. Yeah. Love it.
So it became something so much more, and we ended up making that 36 pages. Now, I don't know if you know anything about film production, but it usually takes more than a month to shoot a movie that is 36 to 60 pages.
Yes.
And then it normally takes about 3 to 5 months to produce that movie with post-production and have it out in theaters.
Right. Because you've got to edit it, you've got to cut it, splice it, make sure there's any scenes you need to reshoot, anything like that. And how long did it take you? I feel like you're going to say something amazing.
I have absolutely no clue how I am telling you this, but in 7 days, we shot 36 pages of film. And then I took that, and again, 36 pages doesn't turn into 90 minutes. So somehow all of that footage and everything that we did on that set, the environment that people were on, the way they immersed themselves in the characters, and that they felt like they were making an impact. By the way, all of these actors who were great and phenomenal did this because when I told them about what was going on, they said, "How can I help?" That's so this was strictly a from the heart project across the board. And even if nobody liked the movie, I learned, and my wife learned, that we created an environment that helped people learn that there was another way to look at this and help them grow. And they even told us that. They said, "JC, before we were talking to you about this, before we became part of the project, it wasn't even on my radar. Now I'm one guy who was not an actor. He became an actor, and I met him at a local place, and he was like, "JC, I'm so glad you gave me this opportunity." His name is Titus. He played some crazy guy in the film. But what ended up happening was later on, he got interviewed on like Wesh, and they talked to him about it, and the passion he had speaking because of what knowledge and involvement he learned about from the movie. Yeah. It was amazing to hear.
No, that's great. That's really cool. Not only did you take people who had a feeling about, I just think it's not right, but then now they know why it's not right. And now you can tell other people like, "Hey, it's not right. Well, it just doesn't feel like something you should do. Okay, but let me tell you why you shouldn't do it." And now you can go tell other people, and when they get to argue, "No, here's the facts and here's why."
That's it. And it's not even telling them it's not right, but it's now having this tool to say, "Watch this movie. I dare you not to feel something." We actually wrote that at the bottom of the poster. I dare you not to feel something.
I love this shirt that you, one of the shirts that you guys have out. You voted for what? That one was the little bear.
Well, so one of the only reasons we were able to really make this happen were two amazing people, Steve and Dana Roca, who run Walk in the Woods, a conservation-based, always back to the environment store where everything you buy actually goes back into the environment. Like they've got one company called 10 Trees. So you buy a shirt and they plant 10 trees and you can follow them on an app. Like,
oh, that's cool.
oh yeah, it's super cool. And so they were the first ones to really get on board, along with one or two other people. And they just connected us with people, and they knew this company called, what is it? Oh, shoot. I'm like here, and I need to say it. No, it's in Tavares. And they just did so amazing of the shirts. And then they also made our flag.
Okay.
And Sunday Cool. Okay. That's what they're called. And they're local, and they just did amazing, and they were helpful. And so it was like this big ripple effect. And then finally, we had a premiere at Epic Theaters in Mount Dora, and we sold out the first full seating, 130 something seats. And,
that's awesome.
And we almost sold out the second one. But what was more important was this wasn't about our movie. This was about now having this tool. And then we partnered with someone from Bear Warriors United. She was the creator. Her name is Katrina Rice, or Katrina Shattuck, sorry. And she was so, she's done so much, and she's actually working on right now a lawsuit that even though the whole vote, if you didn't know, went 7 unanimous across the board, it was a wake-up call. It actually worked out in the favor because people were like, there's over 40,000 people saying no, and you're not even listening. Now, I wasn't there, so I can't speak, but I can say that I know that people are now in a different mental space because they're like, well, look, you're not even hearing out some of these people, so there's got to be other reasons this is happening.
Yeah, it's like, but people are telling you they don't want this. People that have voted for you are telling you they don't want this. Why are you not listening? Who paid you off, and what are you doing? Like, are you just trying to get them out of their way so you can build more Publixes? What are you doing? Like, what?
I know. I feel like there's enough buy one, get ones.
Oh my, and what? Not to just completely change subjects, but what bothers me is like Publix pays so many people to go and like, especially with the lawmakers, like if you ever see in Publix, like, oh, do you want to give $1 for helping clean up the oceans? No, you're the same people who have, the people in there who are telling them, no, do the single-use plastic, support single-use plastic. We don't want to change our bags. Thanks, Publix. Don't you have enough already here? Go away. Sorry, I'm trying to rant.
No, you're totally good. It's healthy to rant, and it's it's 100% true, and it's like so. This even just opened up my eyes because this wasn't just this is about the bears. This is about stopping the hunt, but it's bigger than that. It's about recognizing that there's other options than going straight to killing when it comes to answering things. There are other solutions in there. And that's why this lawsuit, they're actually trying to stop now because they're realizing that there really is a potential to stop this and it could be out of their control. And that's why what we're doing is we've now, what's really neat is you think about all these different facets of groups who have common goals, but they never work together. They always end up, and it becomes much harder to go up the mountain when you're fighting people to get in the right way to get up the mountain, So it was really neat to hear that Bear Warriors United, another gentleman who made a movie called The Paper Bears, who we're connecting with, Bear Defenders, and our Bear Movement all are now, and the Sierra Club, they opened up their hearts. They helped people get to the location. So like suddenly all of these elements finally came together, and now there's this one common goal of both trying to get these movies out there so people can plant the seed and make the decision themselves, but also to get this lawsuit going to be able to actually stop the hunt. And then my wife, Cammie, she was like, there's actually now a process that we can do if we get enough signatures and it goes through the right channels, that you can actually make it where those 7 people of the FWC don't have the final say, and you can change the way that it's done. Imagine being part of the actual change of something for a positive impact. Like in this day and age, it's so hard to do that because of all the red tape. It's like people give up.
They do. And it's so cool though that you have the ability to be the ones to do that. You literally have the people that go, yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah, we're going to do this. And then you look at them and go, actually, no, you're not. You know, you want to be that person. And I think it's really cool that you guys can be those people.
Well, and you know, it's not just us being those people, it's everyone realizing that they are those people and we have the ability to do this. And you know, the world is going in a very, well, we'll just say weird direction. Yes. And it's one of those things where if you can't get on board the way the world is going, get on board something that is just as impactful, but could also help you grow as a human in the way that you're looking at life and the value of who gets to say what.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're not wrong. Like, maybe you don't have to agree with everything, but you need to find something you agree with and you need to stand up for it.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
So, you know, at this point, we're really excited because, believe it or not, we have another theater came to us and said they wanted to show the movie. It's the Aloma Cinema Grill in Winter Park, yes. And that is August 27th. Oh, and cool. At 7:00, and the tickets are only $5. And we're actually, if we sell out the theater, we're donating 25 tickets proceeds to the lawsuit. And they said that if we sell it again, they'll give us the space again because they want this tool to go out.
No, that's amazing. I think it's great. And I really do believe that community will always help you as long as you give back to the community.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're willing to give back to the community will always be willing to give back to you. And I think that's one of the great things. And you guys are definitely doing that, especially with everything that, you know, you got the community involved. That was the number one thing. And I think it's awesome that you guys are able to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of, we'll say a lot of withdrawals from the community asking for favors, needing this to happen. But it's not until it's a win-win where energy is both given and exchanged. So everyone feels like they're part of the experience, they're part of the success, they learn from the failure, and we grow together and become stronger.
Yeah, and you know, when you were talking about it, you immediately said, you know, the community helped. The community helped. Like, you were immediately quick to jump on saying that. And I think that's great because, you know, you're definitely talking about that as well. No, I think it's great. And I think the movie is definitely going to open a lot of people's eyes. So I think it's amazing that you guys are doing this.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've gotten a couple people who have texted to us after seeing the movie and said, you know, I'm not going to lie, psychologically, I'm looking at this a different way now. Your wife and kids, which, by the way, my wife and kids still ended up being the main mom and cubs.
Oh, so, okay.
And my wife, Tammy, is not an actress. She's been in the industry a long time, but she's not an actress. She doesn't want to be. Remember, plants and animals. So
I'm doing that. I really do. I get it.
But do you know what? She showed so much heart for this project and for the protection of these creatures that there were days where she was feeling it and crying and writing and building it. And it just became this real experience. And when it got on camera, it resonated with everyone. There wasn't one person who didn't cry at least once during that movie. Some guy actually came up who used to work on Forrest Gump and was like, I don't cry, but your wife made me cry. And then he went straight to my wife and like he told her, you know, you are not an actress, you are just an amazing human being. And like, you know, it was very very powerful. So yeah,
that's so cool. And sometimes that's all you need. You don't need, I mean, it helps, but you need passion. That is the main thing. You need to believe in whatever you're doing, and that's really cool that she really does, you know, and then she wrote it. And I think it's great that you guys are doing this. I think it's great that someone has stepped up to really talk about, you know, the issue. And that's that, first of all, you don't need to shoot all the bears. And secondly, that, hey, somebody's not paying attention here.
It's interesting because, you know, the more I get into this world and the more I learn about it, the more I realize that, you know, there's a lot of people who really do want to make a difference. but they don't know how. There's no facet. And it's like, that's why one of the nice things about some of this stuff is writing your name on a petition to make the law change or to support the lawsuit. Some people, it's about just like, we had some people who just came and they donated food, you know?
Yeah,
and that makes you feel good.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that's really, I mean, there are some people who want to help with everything, and there are some people who want to help, but they're not quite sure what their talent is. And those are the people you just say, start anywhere. Start with that change.org petition, or create your own change.org petition, or you know, go write your lawmaker, not a nasty gram, but a very well put out, you're an idiot letter, something along those lines, you know, or go get involved and volunteer somewhere, you know, and eventually you'll figure out what you like, what you don't like, and where you're supposed to be. It happens to everybody.
And I think that's it. It's your journey. Yeah. You need to find it your way. All we can do is offer you tools to help you get there if you see it that way. If you don't, then that's not what your experience is right now, and just go on doing what you're doing. But you know what? When the time comes that it's not about the Bears and it's about something else that you care about, how are you going to feel about how you responded about the Bears?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's also the thing. And networking is never a bad thing. It is never bad to know a ton of people, trust me. And, you know, somebody you met along this project may be somebody that will surprise you later on down the road. And, you know, that could be a great thing.
It is. It's all about relationships and co-creating together and seeing what that ends up being. Like, it's funny because after the movie, people were like, okay, so what's next? What else is happening? So Cammie already has started writing, and we now have potentially one or two producers who we're going to connect with to expand this into a world that is basically, everyone loved the world idea because it was safe. It was safe for them to see what was going on and be able to be a part of it without it. And, you know, it's now we're working on something where there's a smaller town than Beartopia that is called Live Oak, and it's all about overdevelopment. But again, you bring these things in, but you do it in a way of entertainment, and you say, here's the opportunity for you to make the choice. How are you going to see it? I'm doing my job. That's it.
No, and that's great. And I have a feeling you're going to have a bunch of movies about Florida.
You know, it's funny. When I was younger, I was like, I'll retire to Florida. Because again, I told you I'm from Jersey. I lived in Pittsburgh. I was like, I'll retire in Florida. And then I ended up here not during retirement age. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm retiring in Hawaii or something now.
Right. No, right. Like, I'm living in Florida, and it's like, well, where am I supposed to go now? What am I going to do?
But you know what? Florida really is amazing. There's a lot of great people here. There's a lot of talent and potential. And it's like, you know, just finding, like you said, the relationships where we can all kind of work together and help each other accomplish our common goals that we want.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like, and I know a lot of people, oh, Floridians are mean, blah, blah, blah. We're not mean. We're not neighborly because you don't always want to be, or that's not where you grew up. You know what I mean?
Well, you had to balance out the Southern hospitality.
Right. And I know that sounds awful, but like in your case with Mount Dora, I love Mount Dora because it's that small town feel. Yeah. But it's not for everybody.
No, for some it's slower.
Yeah. You just got to find your place.
Yeah, I fell in love with it so much that we now work with Visit Mount Dora, and we have a show called Behind the Scenes of Someplace Special, where I go to different locations in Mount Dora and find out about the stories of how these businesses came to be, let people kind of know on more of an intimate level, aside just the surface of an ice cream store. You know what I mean?
No, I love that. Yeah. Well, when you want to come back on and talk about Mount Dora, let me know.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I used to run what they call the fun bus, which was a big purple bus, and it was a tour bus. And it was I made it a comedy history journey through time, because even from the 1800s to now, Mount Dora has always been someplace special. So yeah, I can talk about that all day.
No, yeah, you're good. I love the town. I think it's great. I used to drive through there all the time when I would go from Tampa to Orlando because I don't like I-4. Imagine that. Somebody that doesn't like I-4.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never heard that before.
No, that's a new one. And but I just think it's great what you guys are doing. I think it's great that you guys have a cause, and I can't wait to see what else you guys are going to do with it or how much more you guys do with it. I'm thank you for coming on and talking about it. I think it's awesome.
Oh, 100%. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to. And, because at the end of the day, you can make something great, but if it can't get out there, if it's not able to be heard by the right people, it's like it doesn't exist, So many people put their hearts into not just this movie, but this movement. And now here we are actually gaining some traction. So it's only right that more people get to know about it and find out if they feel called to help, be involved in it. Like it's great because it's not something big you have to be part of. It's just a perspective to have and a support.
No, you're right. Now, is it going to go? I mean, obviously it's limited release right now. Mm-hmm. What's the next step for that?
So we're going to put it on Amazon.
Okay.
But we are also actually going to be offering it specific from our website, bearsthemovement.com, as a like rent or buy type of thing before it goes on Amazon, because Amazon takes a while.
And then they take their part. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Whereas here, when we put that out, we're actually going to be donating part of the proceeds to the movement to actually say, hey, not only are you watching this to get the perspective, but guess what? Congratulations. You can check your box today. You're actually doing something great because you're donating towards the movement that you're now seeing from another side, No,
that's awesome. Now, where can people find, tell them your website and stuff.
So bearsthemovement.com has links to the shirts that we're selling, the donation page, knowledge about the movie, and about the movement itself. And then I know that Bear Warriors United has their own website that you can just Google, and that is more about like the legal side of what we're doing to make the impact changes. And then I know we also have our Instagram, Bears the Movement, that people can follow that have been showing different signs of what's happening with the whole experience and what's going on with the movie. So, people like to follow that type of stuff. And if we do end up going into a bigger space where we expand the world, we're going to be looking for collaborators who feel called to helping in a way that isn't just signing their name on a piece of paper, but actually being part of the creative process to create a larger tool to make an impact.
Very cool. Me and you may talk about that at one point. That's kind of cool.
Totally.
That's how you and I hooked up with Instagram. So I definitely know it's worth checking out. And then I know it's got some links on there too. That's how I checked out the shirts and stuff. No, I think that's great. I think it's truly amazing what you and Cammie are doing. I can't wait I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to see it myself.
Where do you live? Are you allowed to disclose that on there? If not, we can wait till after.
I'm in St. Augustine.
Oh, okay. So if you need, maybe I can send you a private screener. But although seeing it in the movie theater is a lot more fun.
No, I mean, it's like the thrill of it. Like there's certain things you just want to see in a movie theater for the effect of it. If I don't get that way, I'll probably just do the rent or buy off of your website when that becomes available to continue to help promote. So
totally.
That's kind of why I was asking, like, where's it going to go next?
Yes.
I'm not quite near Mountain Door anymore. No, I think it's awesome. So yeah, definitely, guys, for my listeners, please check out the Bears the Movement. I've been following this for quite a bit. Me and JC have been talking about getting him on here, and it finally hooked up. And so it's definitely worth checking out. I remember the first bear hunt. It was awful, absolutely awful. And I just hope this one doesn't happen. I really do.
And people think that the fight is over, but it's not. It actually has just begun because of that very clear line. So now people are like, okay, what can we do? Because there's obviously more going on here.
Yeah, and I think it's great that this is really just the beginning of it. Now you're just opening the door to, okay, well, we can protect the bears, we can protect the panthers. Hopefully we can get rid of the iguanas, maybe the developers, things like that.
That's it, right? And but
Right.
the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this, and honestly, I've teared up a couple times when I realized it. And I looked at Cammie in the eyes and I said, thank you for being such a genuine human being to create this. Because what ended up happening was I realized every day we have our own lives, and the background to our lives, the environment, are the plants, the animals, everything that goes on. We don't really let that in. It's just kind of the background of our lives.
Yeah.
But if we can start to think about these experiences like in Beartopia, the way that it is, that they're more people than they are creature, then where does that lie? That gives us an opportunity to start to expand our relationships with other creatures that are surrounding us every day. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I do. Like me and my husband rescued a Bengal cat. We rescued a Bengal cat. He's very special needs, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
We got it from a bad breeder. Basically, it was a bad situation, and we were not looking for a cat that day, but we got a cat that day. And but that's kind of this. I understand that completely, because it was one of those, like, I'm not just going to let that go. No, I will make do. I will figure out how to give a cat asthma something. You're gonna breathing treatments. We're gonna figure this out, because you're not gonna kill that cat. That cat's gonna get a chance. So, and it's I understand what you're saying. It's to the point of, like, when you walk on the beach and you see, like, the blue herons in the surf. What if they just weren't there one day?
Right.
Or the birds that I can hear kind of, I think, behind you or me, one of us has them. What if we didn't hear that one day? Like, those are the things that you have to think about. Like, you're so used to it, but then one day, what if they just weren't there?
Well, and, I'm going to end on this because I learned this myself. And I said it at the premiere, at the movie. I said it because Katrina told me bears are the sentinels of the forest.
Yeah.
Yes, which, sir. Like, when that resonated with me, I was like, oh my God. So literally we're messing with the balance here. Like, yes. and then where does that go? That never leads up to there's a ripple effect there that's going to screw everyone inevitably.
Yeah. Like, if you mess with those, you're looking at, you think if there's a population issue now with something, you just wait till you don't have a bear.
Yeah.
So, nope, I understand. Thank you for coming on. I truly do appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Just hang out 1 second. I'm going to end the podcast, and give me 1 second. All right, guys. Thanks for listening today. I appreciate it. JC was on. He's been a great guest. Do check out Bears the Movement. Don't forget to check out the social media sites for that Florida Feeling and Bears the Movement. I will link all of his stuff onto the Instagram for when you see the post. Just don't forget to click on theirs. All right, guys, that's your daily dose of sunshine.
This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.